Good morning, everybody. Let's see who's in the building already. Taz, yes, sir. Hit the like button. Thank you for coming on. John, what's up? Port Knox, what's going on, man? I haven't seen you in the chat in a while. Chris Malone, go Canes. What's going on, everybody? So yeah, quite an active week. We'll get into that now as I prepare my cafecito. My Saturday morning tradition. Cheers. Yes, if you're not familiar, you drink Cuban coffee in small shots because, it's strong. Negus, what's going on, man? So, what they do? I'll tell you what they do. Did you guys happen to see this week that little Colin Cowherd, who I can't stand? I'm going to be upfront, cannot stand him. So when I saw videos going viral on Kane's Twitter, this little 2-minute video with Joel Klatt, and I was like, oh man, I didn't watch it until this morning. During the week, it was floating around Twitter, and I was like, oh God, if I watch this, my blood pressure is going to shoot to the ceiling. I'm not watching this. But I had to be in the know. I had to know what they, what exactly they said about the program. And that's surprising that, that they don't have the money, they don't have the backing, they don't have the administration. The administration and coaching and players are not on the same page. And yes, Colin, if you had said that 6 weeks ago, that would still be the case. But things have changed. And obviously, the 3 or 4 headlines you read per week to keep you somewhat updated on college football, you miss them. So, it was obvious these guys do not really follow college football. And you know what? It's fine. Colin Cowherd, I'm sure, is a very busy man, as is Joel Klatt. Maybe they don't have time to. They don't have the time on their hands that, we do to really dive deep and be in the know. The U was on game day today. Yeah, I got to go back and watch that. I heard it was kind of a weak piece. But I'll have to go back. You guys let me know how was that piece that they did? Oh, did you guys notice when they had Mario Cristobal on, maybe a few minutes before our segment? They interviewed Mario Cristobal for a couple minutes, and they kept on the screen Mario Cristobal's name, and right under his name, they left it for a majority of the interview. Miami offensive lineman, 89-92. They left it there on the screen. They didn't just flash it really quick. What other coaches do they interview? Do you see, oh, he played at such and such university? Never. I've never seen that. So that was a little, I don't know, not so subtle way of being subtle. Kane, Idaho, good morning. Let's get the senior day win and send these guys out on a high note. Yes. No, getting the win today. Look, it's not like the NFL where you're playing for a draft pick or something and you're kind of hoping they tank. Manny's gone. That's a done deal, in my opinion. And from what I've heard, throughout the weeks, the guy's done. I'd be very surprised if they keep him. But also very important game because there will be recruits in the building again. We haven't been winning, so it's not going to be the best crowd. But even a half-empty Hard Rock Stadium, half-full Hard Rock Stadium, whatever you want to say, hell, even a third full. When we're winning and we're doing well in a game, we get loud and there's an atmosphere. So I don't care what anyone says. I go to the home games. Some of you guys go to the home games. You know what I'm talking about. So let's create an atmosphere for those kids and let's actually win this game against rival Virginia Tech to impress some of these recruits because I think it'll be big. Yes, Wesley is one of those big recruits. Also, that quarterback, I'm forgetting his name. There's a quarterback from the 2024 class or 23 class, if I'm not mistaken. He's going to be there as well. And you know what? Let me look that up really quick. But let's see. If you guys can help me out, what's that quarterback's name? I'm looking it up right now. Adrian Posey, I think, if that's how you pronounce his name. He's going to be in the building tonight. So lots of reason to win this game. So hopefully, yes, they go out on a high note, win their final home game. This weather's nasty today. The weather's been nasty all week. I hate it. It's that last that last barrage of rain before we got our little cold fronts here in South Florida. And by cold front, I mean 60, 65, which is great. Les, I didn't notice that I was listening to every word coming out of Mario's mouth. Yeah, no, Mario looked like he was ready to kill somebody. You see how focused he was? I mean, no, they even cracked the joke with him at the beginning, like, hey, warm reception from Columbus, Ohio. He just like stone face. He didn't care. He just wanted to get that interview and get out. So, man, that guy's an assassin. If either he or Lane Kiffin, I know the title of the video is about Lane Kiffin because there's all those rumors. If either he or Lane Kiffin get hired, I will be happy to the point that I may go to that Texas A&M game on September 17th next year. I may go to that Texas A&M game. I mean, I heard it's an amazing atmosphere. It is on my short list of stadiums that I want to visit. Among them is the Big House in Michigan. Would love to visit that. College Station, yes, at Texas A&M. What else? Why am I drawing a blank? South Carolina, for whatever reason, that looks like a beautiful stadium. Georgia in Athens, I would love to go to a home game there. But yeah, Texas, Oklahoma. I would love to go to the Texas-Oklahoma game, the Red River Shootout. But yeah, Texas A&M, that's on my short list. How many fans do you expect of the game? Last home game of the year. My entire crew is looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be half full. Probably like in the 30s. 30, 35,000 in that range out of 64 capacity. But you know what? That if the Canes get it cranking, that's enough. I was at the Georgia Tech game. Listen, and maybe because a lot of the crowd realized who it was that made the play. When Avante Williams made that interception, that was by far the loudest crowd reaction in the game. That moment felt like the stadium was full. We got so loud. So I think there'll be enough of an atmosphere. If we win, there'll be enough energy. It's a night game. I think we'll make some kind of impression on these recruits. Mario's like Belichick doesn't really care to smile anymore. All business. Yeah, he ain't got time to smile. But anyway, I got sidetracked. So yes, Lane to the U rumors. But before I get to that, I wanted to just wrap up what I was saying about Colin Cowherd. So yes, as usual, the mainstream media, these guys do not follow college football closely. They just kind of follow it peripherally. So they're a little delayed with their information. He asked Joel Klatt, hey, where do you scale of 1 to 10? Where do you rate the USC job and the Miami job? He said, Joel Klatt was like, I still rate USC very high. Because nobody really competes with them in the recruiting thing. Miami, I would put them in the next tier down, like a top 20 program. I was surprised he even put us that high, to be honest with you, with how ESPN usually is. Top 20. And that's because, they compete with a lot of people for the recruits in South Florida. And it was like, USC doesn't compete with other teams for those LA recruits? You got to be kidding. And then Colin Cowherd said, even if you follow college football peripherally like he does, he said something that baffled me. He said, head coach after head coach that has had great success elsewhere or has won elsewhere, whatever he said, has come to Miami and failed quickly. Okay. Aside from Mark Richt, who did have some success here and had some well-documented health issues, which I think might have been starting when he was at Miami, decided to retire. He brought us within 2 years, 9 wins, 10 wins, brought us back into relevance pretty quickly. Randy Shannon, where else did he win aside from here as a defensive coordinator? That would be nowhere. And since, where has Randy Shannon been a head coach? That would be nowhere. Kane's calling. Yeah, didn't understand that one either. Nope. I don't know where Colin pulled that out from, because even he would know that that's completely false. Randy Shannon came here, no experience. He was the cheap, quick hire. We didn't end up landing Mike Leach. I mean, there were other reasons why back in 2006, but whatever. Randy Shannon, inexperienced, in over his head, and it showed. We kept him around for 4 years, and it was a massive failure. and he has not been a head coach anywhere else. So incorrect there. Al Golden had a little experience. Yes, he won at Temple. He was a terrible fit here, didn't vibe with the players, and refused to fire his absolutely horrendous defensive coordinator. So, yeah, had a little success in Temple, came here, terrible fit. He failed, and really it was his own doing. Mark Richt, I already touched on that. Manny Diaz, again, where has he won? Aside from here as a defensive coordinator for a couple of years before he took the head coaching job, where has he been successful? That would be nowhere. Where is he going to be a head coach after this? Probably in the group of five, if that. I see him being a defensive coordinator and just kind of hanging out there for a while, kind of like Randy Shannon now. Oh, and Al Golden, where has he been a head coach since he left us, since he got fired from our program in 2015? That would be nowhere. So, Colin, you swing and a miss. That was terrible. That was completely incorrect what you said. We have not been making good hires to the head coaching position at all, except for Mark Richt, and even some would argue. I loved the hire at the time, I'll admit. I was on the Mark Richt bandwagon. I loved the hire. But yes, he was getting up there in age. I think he was 55, 56 when he got here. And he got kind of cozy, kind of comfortable with the whole not firing his son when he probably should have. And all of a sudden, he, after 15 years, wants to put the headset back on and call plays. Maybe he could have pulled that off back then. Nowadays, you can't do both. So, yeah, that Richt would, yeah. Anthony, I agree. Richt was a good hire. He made mistakes once he arrived. I think he tried to do a little too much. I think he had something to prove. He made some mistakes. And I think he had some mistakes with N'Kosi Perry. Huge mistake with N'Kosi Perry, Malik Rozier. Once you put in N'Kosi, after he brought us back against FSU in that game in 2018, N'Kosi should have been the starter moving forward, and including 2019, the following season. What's the deal with Lane? All right. So here's the deal. Andy Slater, is that his name? On Twitter, came out and said that he has heard from multiple sources in Lane Kiffin's camp. He's heard from his people that he absolutely is interested in the Miami job. That this isn't from an agent. I don't have ties to an agent. This isn't, him trying to drive up the price. None of that. I know for a fact Lane Kiffin wants to come coach at Miami. And you know what? I'll believe it more when I hear more people come out and say it. But my gut tells me, I'm going to be honest, guys, my gut tells me that it's true. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree. My gut tells me that it's true because I heard similar rumblings when Mark Richt stepped down, and literally later that night, Manny Diaz was hired. I heard later on that, Lane Kiffin was wanted to throw his hat in the ring. As soon as he heard Mark Richt step down back in December of 2018 or whenever it was, December 29th, something like that. It was the day after the bowl game, I think. And as soon as he stepped down, I heard Lane Kiffin was interested. That's what I heard. So I heard from other people. I believe it. And I think, Lane still owns a house in South Florida. Yeah, there you go. For all the people that, and again, Colin touched on it also. Miami hasn't won in 20 years. What's USC won the last 20 years? Yeah, they got to the championship game in 2005. They lost to Vince Young. Since then, it's been 16 years now. What have they done? They're almost in a similar boat. They've gone through a lot of head coaches. They haven't found anything that fit. And, maybe there's a similar disconnect there with football and the administration. I kind of see that happening. Coaches come in, coach for a few years, and then leave. But the whole, you haven't won in 20 years thing, yeah, because the right guy hasn't come here yet. The guy came for a couple of years, so that should show you. And also, look at the talent Georgia ain't won a natty since 80. There you go. We're not the people act like we're the only ones that haven't won a championship in 20 years. That we are the only ones. Lane wants out of Ole Miss. I think he would take Miami job or a few others also. You think he wants out of Ole Miss? I mean, he's doing well there. I don't think he necessarily wants out. I just think, some coaches have that short list of schools that if it became available, no matter what, they're taking it. I know for a long time, Urban Meyer said his dream job, if I have this right, Urban Meyer years ago said his dream job was Notre Dame. Who knows if that happens one day? But, things work out the way they do. He ended up at Ohio State. Now he's in the NFL. But there are some coaches will say what they're, will have a dream school that they want to coach at. Maybe that's Miami for Lane. Maybe it's another school. Maybe it's Florida. Maybe, I don't know. But to come out to say that it's not a desirable job is hilarious at this point. And with the cupboard, the cupboard is not bare by any means. You have 2 top 12, top 13 recruiting classes back to back. Look who you have at quarterback, and that's not just potential. Look what Tyler Van Dyke has done the last few games, including the FSU game. Started out rough, but bounced back and threw for 300 plus yards and 4 touchdowns. If you're following the game, if you're following college football, you know who TVD is, okay? You know who Jake Garcia is, who's right behind him, and you know Ja'Cory Brown is coming in behind him. So, desirable job with the roster you have alone? Yes, it's desirable. Oh, they don't have an on-campus stadium. That was another point they made. Everybody loves to make that point. The city of Coral Gables would not allow a stadium to be built. The University of Miami campus is this big. I live down the street from it, okay? Or 5 minutes away from it. It would not fit. It literally doesn't fit. The Orange Bowl, yes, it was great. Great atmosphere, central to Miami. And I hope one day Miami gets a more central stadium. Tropical Park, I'm still saying that would be an ideal place. I would love that. Right now, you got to drive to BFE at the Dade and Broward County line to go, but whatever, 30, 40-minute drive, not that big of a deal if you're a fan. For those people that keep saying, oh, no atmosphere, no on-campus stadium, go back and watch the Virginia Tech game and the Notre Dame game from 2017. That Notre Dame game was packed. And it wasn't like, it was like 20, 30% Notre Dame fans. No, I barely saw a Notre Dame fan in that crowd. Go back and watch the highlights. So miss me with that nonsense that you got to drive 40 minutes to the stadium. That's why we're not winning. Get out of here. Get out of here. Mark Richt disproved that in one season. You win, they show up. And it's not just those games. The Virginia game, Virginia was unranked. It was the home finale of that season where Jaquan Johnson got the pick 6. I was there. Was it packed to the gill sold out? No, but very close. That stadium was pretty full. For a noon kick, it was a noon kickoff, if I'm not mistaken. Miami Brass has been working the AD angle for weeks now, and they have reached out via back channels to Lane and Cristobal. They should have an idea if these guys want the gig. Go Utah. I mean, it's good. God, I'm so torn. It's hard for me to root against Mario. I would love to see him. Prove himself once again to the doubters and beat Utah. That's a big game. Big games always sold. Big games always sell out at Miami. It's like, there's no atmosphere at Hard Rock. Put people in there. There's an atmosphere. There you go. Problem solved. Yeah. USC doesn't either. They play in the ancient Coliseum. It's an atmosphere when it's full. Any stadium has a great atmosphere when it's full. Okay. We need Nike back at Miami Hurricanes. Maybe they and Mario are a package deal. Who knows? Cristobal to the U. You guys tell me, do you prefer Lane? Do you prefer Mario? Or are you just happy we're having this discussion? I'm in that camp. I'd be pretty happy with either one. Mario being number one for me. I would love another name like Luke Fickell. But people have made valid points. I don't know if he's the best fit here because he would have to vibe with Highsmith or whoever they hire in that football operations role. Cristobal, that'll be no no problem there. So no issue with fit whatsoever. I would take either one. 100%. I don't think Lane would have a problem fitting in with that. What has Lane won exactly? He's won football games. That's what he's won. He's 8-2 in the SEC. In the SEC West, we're 5-5. So Mario number one. Also, Mario's won a Rose Bowl. But aside from winning football games, conference championship at FIU, never thought I would say those words until 2010. He's not won a national championship either. The coaches that have won a national championship, especially at multiple schools, it's a tiny, tiny list. Mario 1A, Lane 1B. Yeah. John, with FIU Stadium out as a future option, would playing at Marlins Park in the future, adding 15,000 extra seats, make sense closer to home? I wouldn't hate that. I think that would be pretty cool because if they were to renovate the old Orange Bowl while it was still standing, that's, a little retractable roof, is something that people would have wanted. You definitely have to do a lot of renovations to Marlins Park if you want to do that. I wouldn't hate it. I think it's the old location. Because it seats 40,000 right now at Marlins Park. Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. Tropical Park is number one for me, but wouldn't hate that. I would have to see what their idea is, what they would make it more cane friendly, because the colors are not. I don't. Something about the inside of that stadium just looks weird when people are playing football in it. I'm good with Mario, Lane, Schiano in that order. Schiano, I wouldn't mind. But yeah, I was saying I would love Luke Fickell, but he might not be a good fit with the administration they're planning on bringing in. He's got his own way of doing things. But another guy I would like, I think he would be a nice fit, is a name that's been tossed around here and there, James Franklin from Penn State. I think that guy is just very consistent. He would bring a solid defense here, and we definitely wouldn't be, number one in the nation in penalties and missed tackles. That's for sure. So there's names out there. It's not just these two guys. They're number one and number two on my list as of right now, like realistic options. But a guy like James Franklin, who, he's had some bad luck, injured quarterback. Last year was kind of a weird year for everybody. So maybe he's looking around. Maybe they move on from James Franklin. I think that would be dumb on their part. Who else? Oh, what about Mark Stoops? He's a sleeper. He's one. If we don't get the top two, Mark Stoops wouldn't mind that at all. He would definitely make us a solid defense again, if not great. Les, we need to continue to run the spread. That's the thing with Mark Stoops. Mark Stoops likes to run a power spread. He runs the ball a lot. All right. And I mean, if it works and we're running the ball down people's throats, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with whatever offense works and actually executes the game plan. If we're scoring points, I don't care what offense we're running, but it's going to be some form of the spread probably. Bill or Bob Stoops? Bob Stoops is great, but Bob Stoops, man, it's been so long since he's coached. The game evolved so quickly over the span of just 5 years. I don't know. I don't know if he would still have it. When those guys come out of retirement, it tends to not work. It's happened time and time again in the NFL. It does not work usually. They have their run, and that's kind of it. James Franklin's lusters wore out. LSU and USC don't want to touch him. I hear LSU's reaching out to Stoops. To Mark Stoops? Like I said, I like Mark Stoops. I think he'd be a good hire in a lot of places. Ken Dorsey head, man, come on. No Ken Dorsey head coach, please. Ken Dorsey offensive coordinator? Maybe. I would maybe take Ken Dorsey offensive coordinator. That's with a guy like Lane Kiffin, who's already like an offensive guru. He can kind of groom Ken Dorsey. Okay. I'd be cool with that. But if we can get experience, I'd rather have experience. Lane doesn't want to live in Mississippi, and he's losing 17 starters with his QB. This is his year to move on. Ooh, that's right, because Matt Corral is leaving. That's true. Good point. Yeah, and that dude's a stud. That dude's a stud, and he's losing all those players, and he would be leaving on a high note, even though he's only been there, 2 years? Yeah. Maybe he brings a couple transfers with him. Maybe my boy from Columbus High School, Henry Parrish Jr., maybe he comes home with him. You don't know who that is? Look him up. I would love to add him as a running back. Dorsey as QB coach? I'd take QB coach for sure. Offensive coordinator? Maybe. That's intriguing. If they need to save money somewhere, then that's a good way to do it. I think you're bringing in a very intelligent guy that knows the program, and I think will be a great offensive coordinator one day, and a great coach. Jeff Hafley, I know that name. Let's see. Who is Jeff Hafley? Football coach. Sorry, folks, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Ohio State. Oh, the head coach of Boston College. Okay. Yeah, Boston. I like what he's done at BC. BC, the last 6-7 years has had a very solid program. He's been pretty good, and then the guy before him wasn't bad either. Let's see. What else did I miss here? Franklin, not a bad option. Stoops or Aranda, maybe. Maybe. Mario scares me because of Taggart. Coaching FSU in Miami is a different beast. Oregon is a chill job. Coaching in the South is different. Yeah, but Mario won 2 championships here as a player. He knows. He knows Kiffin Kane. And Mario and Taggart, look at their personalities as coaches. Okay, Taggart, I see that chill vibe. I see what you're saying for sure. Does Mario seem like a chill coach to you? No. It's the reason why they're number 3 right now and walking into a hostile environment at Utah today, pretty confident. I will be a little surprised if they don't win that game. Mario or Lane are not going to, man, get out of here. John, would you see Thad Franklin in this game? Great on short yards. I hope so. I know he's had that issue with fumbles before, I've heard. He fumbled once in the CCSU game, but yeah, I mean, you got to give him playing time. You got to give him a chance to prove himself. I want to see just empty the bench, give everybody a shot to play today. Why not? I really hope he doesn't favor the seniors today, it being senior day. That would really annoy me. If Lane comes, he'll bring Ed Orgeron with him. Recruiting will be locked down. I don't know if I want Ed Orgeron around this program, let's be honest. That's just me, man. I put money on Mario today. Yeah, if Mario's available, if either one's available, sign me up. Sign me up. Hell yeah, Lane and Ken Dorsey, offensive coordinator, quarterback coach. Good combo. All right, I'll be on a few more minutes, guys. This will be the only shot for Mario to get the UM gig. It's now or never. Let's see if Mario, the alpha dog, really wants the challenge. It's not just the challenge, Bosworth. This is home. And what people around the country and media people don't realize is, and the Orange Bowl boys on their podcast, I loved their last episode. They touched on it and they said it best. People do not understand that connection between a Cuban boy, a Cuban young man, and his mother. His mom lives down here. And, Abuelita does not get a lot of time with the family, with his 2 sons and, all that stuff. So that, believe me, family is so important in the Latin community, especially amongst Cubans. So there's that. Also, Flo made a good point on his Flow Motion earlier this week. What is there to do in Oregon? What is there to do compared to Miami? And also, if you win at Oregon, great. You ever going to want to go back there? Eugene, Oregon? No. You win in Miami? Like Michael Irvin said, this city is yours for 30, 40 years. Mario's our savior. He's from that coaching tree. Thank you, sir. Yeah, go Canes. Let's get that W today. It's a big one. I got a Friendsgiving tonight, so I actually will not be at the game, but I'll be watching. Don't worry. They will have the TV on. They're playing, the Heat are playing, the Panthers are playing. Busy night. It sucks, man. I wish I could be there, but friends, family, also important. Hoping to see Chase play upwards of 20 plays tonight. Let's get this 80 Mario Lane done. Oh, let me touch on that really quick. It's pretty clear the ineptitude of player evaluation at the linebacker position, because we've been saying, Chase is ready. I've been saying it, like, put him in. Finally, they let him play like 6 snaps against FSU, makes like 4 tackles or whatever it is, makes a play every time he's out there. All of a sudden, Chase has been moved to linebacker. Hallelujah. What have we been saying since before the season started? He's more of a linebacker than a striker, and we're thin at linebacker. I want him playing the mic. Oregon is winning now while USC is down. Once USC comes back, Oregon will always be second fiddle. Oregon will always be second fiddle. I think there's some truth to that. Yeah. Once USC is like Miami West, right? Like they have so much talent right in their backyard. That's another reason this job's desirable. You can hop in your car, drive 15 minutes, and there's number 1 recruit in the country. Drop by their house, go catch their game. You don't have to jump on a private jet. You don't need that. You literally hop in a car and you're right there. So don't tell me that doesn't make a difference. You can get a jump on every other coach in the country. Literally, you get to their house first before anybody. So my point is USC, they have so much talent in their backyard. If a coach comes in and, has the backing from the administration, that is important, and just gets the job done, and they, over the span of 5 years, go to a couple of playoffs, win a national championship. Oh, yeah. Oregon is second fiddle again. I totally agree with you. That is the brand in California, on the West Coast, really. Manny Sr. will be on the field again tonight. Oh boy. Okay. Don't remind me. Any truth to Terrence Lewis being in the portal? So all I know about T2 is, and I'll end after this. All I know about T2 right now, maybe I'll try to dig for more info, is that he's kind of been posting, on his stories on Instagram. People have been screenshotting it. He's been chatting. He's been interacting a lot with James Williams. And I remember at one point, James told Terrence, like, man, you and I in this field together we'd kill it. Something to that extent. And T2 reposted it on Instagram and in his stories. And he was like, yeah, no lie, something like that, like agreeing with him. And that was like, oh, okay. So, and these players are smart. They know how to market themselves. They know how many people read into those messages. So my opinion, I think he's at least considering it. And with who we had, with Patkey and these guys, who we had on the defensive staff the last couple of years, making evaluations and making decisions on who to go after. Jermaine Johnson, for example, wanted to be a Cane, and we decided against it. Yeah, the guy only lived in our backfield that entire game, but whatever. But hearing that now, I'm like, did T2 want to come here? And we said no. It would not shock me at all. At all. But you know what? Maybe it'll work. He was playing with a torn ACL his senior year. Maybe everything happens for a reason, and he took this year off somewhere else. He healed up. And maybe when he comes back, he'd be ready to go. If Mario's the man, he'd be a perfect hire. He'd retire Miami, win ACC titles. Talent is here. Let's get it done. Agreed. And you know what? Like I said before, the cupboard is not bare. He'd be inheriting a nice group of guys, and he'd be inheriting some solid depth. Even if you don't have a great recruiting class this year, you can supplement with the portal. But even then, there's like 40-something freshmen technically on the roster because of the free season they got last year. So you got a lot of guys, a lot of quality coming back, a lot of raw material that he can work with. It's not like when Randy Shannon took over and the talent was pretty much barren. It was gone. It's not like when Al Golden took over and it was a lot of guys that didn't want to buy in. It was no depth. It was just they weren't good situations. Even when Mark Rick took over, it was, he had to get a few of his guys in, and not everyone bought in right away. He would be getting a very nice group, and I'll just leave it at that. All right, guys, that'll be it for me. Enjoy the game tonight. Go check out lapumita.com for your coffee merch. If you love Cuban coffee, go check them out. They got some good stuff for you. And go check them out on Instagram. Check me out on Instagram, Cafecito and Canes. Subscribe, hit the like button, share it with your friends. I got 68 in the chat right now. Thank you guys so much for hopping on a Saturday morning. Please hit the like button again. And as always, go Canes. Let's get this W today. All about the U.